The Toyota Urban Cruiser Hyryder is going to be a game changer in the compact SUV segment. I'm not saying that because of the usual reasons like the exterior design, the interiors, or even the wow features that it offers. I'm saying that because of what lurks under the hood. The Hyryder along with the Grand Vitara will be the only SUVs in their segment to offer a strong hybrid powertrain. So a different drive experience and a promise of phenomenal fuel efficiency. So before we get to the bit where how is the Hyryder as a compact SUV, let's start with the hybrid powertrain first. The hybrid powertrain on the Hyryder is very intelligent. For example, 60% of the time according to Toyota, this car is driven only by the electric motor. This 1.5-litre 3-cylinder engine comes on only when it has to charge the batteries or under hard acceleration when you need the extra thrust. How all this technology translates in the real world? Let's get driving. So the Hyryder's hybrid system makes around 115 PS of power, 91 PS from the petrol motor and 79 PS from the electric motor. And combined it is around 115 PS of power, as I said. So how is the hybrid variant to drive? Well, at low speeds, if the battery is sufficiently charged, it feels exactly like an EV. It stays super silent, the engine doesn't come on until and unless it is required to, especially if you go a little hard on the throttle, only then the engine comes on. So yes, at low speeds, it feels very soothing to drive. And the good thing is, the sound insulation too is very good, because of which driving the Hyryder hybrid at low speeds is very relaxing. And even when the engine comes on to charge the battery or give you more power, it is seamless. It doesn't have any of those shift shocks that you get from normal ICE engines with automatic transmissions. Even at city speeds, if you want to execute a quick overtake, all you have to do is dab on the throttle and the electric motor gives you instant acceleration to make your life easy. Overall, this powertrain works wonderfully well at low speeds. It has more than enough power. It is smooth. So as a city runabout, the Hyryder hybrid is almost perfect, except for two things. The first one is the ride, which feels a little stiff at low speeds, and especially if you're going over broken surfaces, there's a bit of side-to-side motion. But on the upside, the suspension works silently, and overall the ride quality at low speeds is not really a deal breaker, but yes, it could have been more comfortable. The second reason is the steering, which is a bit on the heavier side, so you do have to put in some effort, especially while taking tight turns. But the icing on the cake is the fuel efficiency at low speeds. We have been driving it for a little while and we have been constantly getting over 20 kilometers per litre, which is phenomenal. Out on the highway, the Hyryder hybrid cruises really well. It holds on to triple-digit speeds with ease. But it's only when you want to execute a quick overtake, say if you're doing 80 kilometers per hour, and if you step on the gas, it does take a bit of time to gain momentum, because of which you have to plan your overtakes well in advance. Not only that, even the engine gets quite vocal and you do feel some vibes from the 3-cylinder motor. So yes, this is where cars like the Seltos or the Kushaq with the turbo petrol engines have an advantage over the Hyryder. But on the upside, where the ride at low speeds is a little stiff, out on the highway it comes in its own, where even over undulations this car remains pliant, there's hardly any body movement, and in fact in a straight line even at higher speeds this car feels very stable, because of which doing a lot of highway kilometers in this car can also be relaxing. Now the question, does this powertrain feel sporty when you floor the throttle? Well, we tested the car. Obviously this test wasn't to our test condition, but still we got a ballpark figure which is around 13 seconds to 100, which isn't particularly quick, especially when you consider cars like the Seltos, the Creta, or even the Kushaq and the Taygun do around 9 seconds to 100. That's 4 seconds slower. But even while doing acceleration runs and driving in a fast manner, this car was still returning around 16 kilometers per litre. So yes, overall that sums it up. This car isn't particularly fun to drive. Is it sensible? Absolutely yes. Now that we know how the Hyryder drives, let's get to the bit where how is the Hyryder as a compact SUV. So the first thing that you notice when you look at this car is the size. As compared to its rivals, it is the longest in terms of length and the wheelbase as well. And when you consider the squared off lines and the strong shoulder line, the Hyryder does demand a lot of attention. This car looks expensive on the outside too, thanks to the well-designed 17-inch dual-tone alloy wheels, projector LED headlamps, the DRLs on top, and even the lower grille is finished in gloss black, which does look premium. What I'm not too sure about is the faux carbon fiber finish on the grille. It will definitely divide opinions. What do you think about this grille? Do let us know in the comment section below. From the rear, the Hyryder does look muscular thanks to the chunky rear bumper and the contrasting grey finish for the skid plate. Other than that, even the LED tail lamp design looks really nice. So overall on the outside, the Hyryder does look premium and will justify its 20 lakh plus price tag. The interiors of the Hyryder look sophisticated, and that's mainly down to the design of the dash, which looks really modern. Especially the center console has a nice V shape to it. Now, the MG Aster still sets a benchmark as far as overall quality is concerned, where you get soft touch materials even on the dash top and the door pads. But the Hyryder on its own is not bad at all. So on the dash you get the soft touch materials, even these touch points are finished in soft touch materials, because of which overall the Hyryder's cabin does feel premium. If we had to nitpick, there are some things that could have been better. For example, the air vents feel a little weak and cheap, the roof liner material could have been better, and the panoramic sunroof cover is very thin, which lets in a lot of heat in the cabin. Unlike in some of its rivals like the Creta and the Seltos, the Hyryder doesn't get electric adjust for the driver's seat, but what you do get is a good range of adjustment, because of which finding an ideal driving position is actually quite easy. In terms of seating comfort, I really love these front seats. They are large, they are accommodating, and also offer good support. And what adds to the overall experience is the fact that you get seat ventilation in the top hybrid variant. In the rear seat of the Hyryder, you get good amount of space. Now the driver's seat is set to my position, and despite that, I have good amount of knee room. Even I have good foot room. What is a bit lacking is headroom, which is a bit tight. But the bench itself is comfortable, you get good under-thigh support, even the backrest is adjustable, and because you sit at a good height, the window line is low and you get a big panoramic sunroof, you feel quite airy in the back seat of the Hyryder. Even in terms of practicality, you are well taken care of in the back seat of the Hyryder. For example, you get a decent sized door pockets, 2 cup holders, a place to keep your phone, seat back pockets, and 2 USB charging ports, one Type A and one Type C. So what's missing in the rear seat of the Hyryder? Maybe a sun blind, and definitely should have come with a bit more headroom. The biggest disadvantage the hybrid version has is in terms of boot space. Because of the battery pack, the floor is quite high. So even small bags have to be stacked horizontally and not vertically, because the load cover doesn't shut. And if you want to carry more items, you have to leave the load cover at home. In terms of features, except for the power driver's seat or a branded sound system, the Hyryder comes very well loaded. In the top variant of the Hyryder, you get features like a panoramic sunroof, automatic climate control, a 360-degree camera which has good resolution, and a 9-inch touchscreen infotainment system. The infotainment system works really well. It has big icons, good touch response, and you also get wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, which works really well. If you opt for the top hybrid variant, you also get additional features like tire pressure monitoring system, digital driver's display, HUD, wireless charger, a premium sound system, and front seat ventilation. In terms of safety features, right from the base variant, you get dual airbags, ABS with EBD, and ISOFIX child seat anchorage points. While in the top variant, you get side and curtain airbags as well. If you're looking to buy a compact SUV with exhilarating performance, then this car is not for you. The acceleration from the hybrid powertrain is more sedate than quick, and rival cars with turbo petrol engines do excitement much better. So what this car is a safe buy. It feels premium both on the outside as well as the inside. It has a good ride quality, is loaded with features, and the hybrid powertrain gives you a smooth power delivery. But the biggest calling card for this car is its fuel efficiency, which makes it extremely sensible. And if Toyota manages to price this car as sensibly, then they definitely have a winner on their hands.